All right, good morning. I got a new tripod. I don't like it. We're going to see how it goes. So, yeah. Hey, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. It's 5:30. Let's get this party started. Go ahead on your own. Inhale and exhale 3 times, cleansing breaths so that we can ready the mind. All right, today we are here talking about how to become leader-led part 2. This is a learning live right now. If it's your first time here or you're watching on the replay, you need note-taking materials as well as a secondary device so that you can follow along on the website. The website is theturnarounddoctor.com, theturnarounddoctor.com. Today we will be coming from 1 Corinthians. No, I'm just kidding. We are coming from the book of the 74 Principles of Real Leadership. And the chapter is going to be leader led. I won't be before you long. And we are on 9 through 16 under leader led. And just to review, I will go back in the book and read from leader led again, just so we're all aligned. The best way to lead is from the front while bringing your team along with you. This is accomplished by being the example that you want others to follow. If you want excellence, you need to exude excellence. If you want your team to follow, you must show them where you are going. You will need to be with them every step of the way. Your actions in being leader-led will no doubt speak louder than your words. Louder than your words. Actions speak louder than your words. And as I mentioned yesterday, listen to what people do. Listen to what people do, and you will find out if what they say is true. Okay? Just listen. If you listen long enough, people will show you who they are and believe them when their actions show you who they are. Now, the number 9 for today is to think positive. And you'll find if you go to Pinterest, Etsy, any social media platform, you type in think positive, you got positive people, positive person, and all these other things that will show up for you to think positive. Now, the difficulty in that is because of negativity bias. Negativity bias has been passed down for thousands and thousands of years. It started with hijacked amygdalas for safety, and now it's just that's what you do. You can research it for yourself, or you can check out one of my previous lives where I talk about negativity bias. And the problem with that is, good morning. The problem with that is this. You automatically start thinking negatively. Your brain is hardwired to think, good morning, Regina, to think negatively. That's it. So thinking positively is not something that your brain has been taught to do. So you can't just sit here right now and think positive. Think positive, think positive. Just think positive. You don't have the neural pathways to think positive. You have to train your brain to go to positive things. If you have a bunch of unaccountable people in your life that you interact with on a daily basis, it is going to be extremely challenging for you to think positive without wiring your brain to do it. You might be able to do it. I never seen it happen before, but you might be able to do it. So step 1 is the number 1 principle of real leadership is to hold yourself and others personally accountable. And in order to do that, you're going to have to start to hold yourself personally accountable and then them. So the people in your life need to be personally accountable too, or they don't need to have access to you. Because if they're there, there is no thinking positive. You can be thinking positive all you want, and here they come with their hijacked amygdala and all their biases and dumping them on you. And now you're going to have to dig yourself out of that and get to ground zero and now try to think positive. But by then, you're going to be. So it's not what a person says to you, it's how you respond. No, actually, that is not actually correct. If you do not wire your pathways to positive thinking, to holding yourself personally accountable, as soon as someone says something to you, you are wired to fight, flight, freeze, or appease. You're going to automatically react because your amygdala will be feeling as though it is being hijacked. So your brain is hardwired to go to the negative thing. You can only respond if you are in your frontal lobe and you are using the executive function of your brain. And there's a thing called inhibition and control inside of that. So if someone comes to attack your amygdala and you participate in it, then inhibition control says you're going to do something or say something that you're going to regret. So in order for you to not react and respond, you have to be wired to stay in your frontal lobe. And that takes practice. and it takes neural pathways to stay in the executive function, in the frontal lobe, which is the biggest part of your brain. You got to stay there. So when people start popping off and trying to hijack your amygdala and acting crazy and everything, you keep it rational. And yesterday we used be objective as one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you stay objective the entire time. So you might as well just be solid, because if we react, no. How about this, James? How about you stick around for a second and see how this goes, and then you can find out more. How about that? Okay, because I actually have notes. This is a lecture format. So if you stay around, if you write that question down. Good morning, good morning. If you write that question down and you stay to the end, then I can entertain that question at that point, because it's a tight schedule and I have a lot to go over this morning. So I've answered to the best of my ability. If you're trying to understand, we can take that offline, or you can sign up for a PA challenge to further understand, because you're not going to get it in just today. So think positive. So the people who have been here understand we've been studying the brain, and they understand how this works. So it's not going to be something that you're going to get right here, right now. Okay, so short answer is you need to learn how to use your brain. The frontal lobe is how everything works. That's where the magic happens. And in doing that, learning how to do that, you will be able to do everything that I'm telling you to do. So think positive only works when you are holding yourself personally accountable and others around you. You get rid of the unaccountable people, and now you have full access to your working memory, the executive function of your brain. That's where your personality is, your logic, your reasoning. All of those things reside in the frontal lobe, and that's how you start to think. Therefore, you can start to think positive. And it's not, this is just going to go great for me. That's not life. That's not realistic. As challenges come into your life, you can tell yourself that this is just part of the process. This is an obstacle that I need to remove. This is what I need to do to grow to my next level. Because people that tell you to think positive makes it seem like, oh, I can never be upset. Yes, you can, because your feelings are your feelings. Well, I can never be angry. Yes, you can, because anger means that something needs to change. So this isn't a matter of not feeling what you feel. As we know from the feelings PDF, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? And what am I going to do about it? That part is important as well. So this isn't a matter of not feeling. This is outlook and perspective when things are taking place. And I've said problems show up as blessings. First you get the lesson, and then you get the blessing. And shit show palooza means that you have growth opportunities that are presented to you. And if you choose to challenge yourself and take risk and go after those growth opportunities and solve those problems, you are going to be positive. You are going to have more self-confidence because you navigated through them. If you don't, and you avoid them, and they're going to keep showing up and new problems are going to come, there's no way for you to think positive. There's absolutely no way for you to think positive because you haven't done the work. So the only thing that's positive is that you're going to fuck this up too. This is going to be a problem too, in addition to everything else. So thinking positive means that through personal accountability and the 74 principles of real leadership, you will be able to navigate through whatever is taking place in your life, and you will have the best outcome. The best outcome is not always money. It's not always perfect. It's not always, ha, 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 I got your ass back. It's not revenge. It is the best outcome. That is what this is about. So saying a bunch of positive words and a bunch of affirmations. James, what part of wait until the end for a question did you not understand? Do you have a piece of paper and pen or another device to take notes for yourself from? Do you have that? Because I just said, wait until the end. If you have a question, write it down. You are being disruptive to what I am doing this morning. So I'm going to say it one more time. Any question that you have, write it down. Now I'm going to go back to elementary school, and Regina, you can appreciate that. 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. It's Dr. Donna, and I'm an educator, not a teacher. There is a difference. Look it up. Think positive. When you have unaccountable people in your life and on your lives that want to disrupt what it is that you're doing, you need to remove them. And so, as I have just demonstrated this morning, I was quite patient and I explained to James Patterson what was taking place. And James decided that this was a funny event for him and Slick Pullum. And now they are no longer here. And now they no longer have access to personal accountability. And I'm the only person in the world teaching this. So they will never learn how to be personally accountable. That's how that goes. So I'm positive that they are not coming back. I'm positive about that. So thinking positive, when you are working towards something, as Linda mentioned the other day, unaccountable people need a host. They need a personally accountable person in order for their thing to work. Because if it's two unaccountable people together, it's not going to work. They're just going to go and be unaccountable, and it's not going to feel the same because they both being unaccountable. So they have to have a person that's personally accountable in order for it to, oh, let me go steal that good energy over there. Let me go fuck with this person that's actually doing something grand. You ain't doing shit, so that ain't fun because you ain't shit no way. Let me go tear this thing over here down that's being built up. Let me do that. Impossible to think positive. So can you all imagine if I had to let them stay over here, where the energy would be in this life as we go forward? Because that's what you're doing in your personal life. You're entertaining it. You're letting it go on because of who the person is. And you're excusing it and saying it's okay. It's not okay. It's not acceptable at all. Hold yourself and others personally accountable. And that's what I did. So I'm grateful for the example to show you that it's interrupting me giving you the information that you need to be leader led. It was a complete, utter interruption, and for no reason whatsoever. And now they both feel like they've accomplished something, and they did. They cut off their access to personal accountability. So they will never become their best at no point, because there isn't anybody else that's teaching this in the world. So again, positive thinking. So imagine if these were my friends. Imagine if I had to work with these two people. Imagine if I was engaged in a relationship with one of them, an insignificant other. How am I going to think positive with that going on, with that disruption taking place? How would it be possible? There aren't enough affirmations, CDs, conferences, or anything at all, because as soon as I come back and get in their energy, they're going to try to steal the oxygen out of the room. It is impossible to think positive or do anything grand with unaccountable people in your midst. That's the lesson that you should have taken away from that. It is impossible. It is extremely disruptive and distracting. That's why eliminate distractions is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. That's what it's there for. So you can lie to yourself and think that you can do it with them in your life, but you can't. It would have continued for the rest of this life. It would have continued. And you are letting it continue in your personal life because they're your children, they're your spouse, they're your supervisor, they're your BFF or whomever it is. And I'm saying it's 100% unacceptable. I don't really give a fuck who it is. Unaccountable people fuck shit up and they make it impossible to think positive. Number 10, provide coaching. Provide coaching. Provide coaching. And this isn't a life coach. This is actually providing sound and wise counsel as someone grows through a situation, giving them a strategy. I used to coach basketball when I was in the Army. I coached in Korea, men and women. I had 3 different teams in the time that I was in the Army. And so it's interesting to coach soldiers because some of them had already played. Some of them, like, I just like basketball. I do pickup games, and putting them together and organizing them. And so when I was at Fort Campbell, my last time coaching men, we actually had playbooks and practices and everything. That was my 3rd time. So I had figured everything out by then. And it was interesting when we played, and Nola was asking me about this yesterday, but did y'all have plays? And I said, yeah, one of the plays was called Honey. And she said, oh, so like Coach Carter when he named every play after his sister. I said, yeah, that's pretty much how it went. And we were a better team. We had chemistry, it worked better, and we did great because of the coaching that was there. So when you are providing coaching for people, you are doing it for them. Now, will there be an exchange and will you learn something too? You actually will, but the objective is best. And when you provide that coaching for them, that wise counsel, those strategies and tactics that they can use day in and day out, it's a win-win. But in order for you to provide coaching, as I said before, you got to be coachable. And if you're not coachable, then you don't learn how to be a coach. And the issue that I have with organized sports at the collegiate and at the professional level is the coaches ain't coaching no more. The coaches want you to come ready to do whatever it is that you know how to do, but they can't down to the last wire. Overall, it's not working. And they just keep team hopping and team hopping and team hopping. It's like job hopping and job hopping, not staying long enough to find out as a coach. And what's missing, as my cousin, before he went off to school, we made him read, not read, but look at all the book reviews for The Art of War. And he even said, everybody that's playing football needs to read this book. And I believe everybody needs to read The Art of War. But it's leadership. If you are not a leader, you are not going to be able to provide coaching. It's impossible to do. You can't just have the title of coach and go out there and say, oh, do da da da. It's not going to work. And that's what's missing. Everybody keeps saying, why are sports the way they are? Why isn't it like it used to be? And people are, oh, it is. It isn't. Leadership is missing. People are sitting in positions of power and authority now, and they have no leadership skills. It's not required anymore to do the job. Profits high paying if you're sitting in businesses that are profitable. But leadership is the foundation for everything that you do, to include coaching. So you can't coach if you aren't leader-led and you don't have the skill sets and the technical competence because you're coaching people. So if there is no people development, there is no growth opportunities or things like that, then it doesn't work. Now, Coach Prime has his leadership expert person on the team, and the season before last, they took the leaders of the team and went and showed them how to be leaders. And so it's getting better. I just don't think that person is qualified. That's his homie from when he was working at the Dallas Cowboys. And so he let him go ahead again. I get it, economic development, giving people jobs, but that person is not qualified and competent enough to be in that position. But it is a step in the right direction. So kudos to starting that process. But providing coaching is how you bring out the best in people and allow them to then be coachable and then provide coaching as well. So we called it hip pocket training when I was in the military, on the spot corrections, but it is a selfless act to do because that person doesn't owe you anything from the coaching. If anything, it's paid forward and get it going in a positive trajectory so that we can get more people in the world holding themselves personally accountable. So if you decide to, and people will say mentor, I'm not really a fan of that word, but it is there. When you're providing coaching, you're taking someone who doesn't have all the skill sets, but they want to be able to do this thing and have the ability and the willfulness to be willing to do it. They have that, and now you are giving them all of these different skills that they need in order for them to reach their objectives. Number 11 is be prepared. Preparation is key. You know the 7 P's. Prior planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance. Be prepared. And that means that you don't do anything without a strategy. Nothing without a strategy. Absolutely nothing. You prepare. My daughter and I prepare for her appointments. I prepare for these lives. I have 3 lives today because it's Monday. I will be prepared and have notes for the other 2 that occur on Instagram at 4 p.m. and TikTok at 3 p.m. Be prepared. Always be prepared. My daughter calls my purse the magic purse because there's always something in it. Even now that it's a smaller purse for her appointments, I have something that I just pull out of my purse. Do you have a Band-Aid? Do you have a pen? Do you have some liquid Band-Aids? Do you have tissue, lotion, hand sanitizer, lip balm, pen? All of those things are in my purse just to ensure that I am prepared for the day. Do not leave, and because of the military, I don't leave the house without water. If we're working, we have snacks. And make sure that we have a cooler. There are other things in the car, emergency kits, all of that. We just got a new battery charger for the car as well, power sources and those things, because you just never know what could take place and when you might need to administer first aid, as I had to do on this car that I got about 3 weeks ago. So you're prepared for everything. How many times have you gotten somewhere and not been prepared and not done the research, not gone on vacation and forgot, didn't look at the weather report? And the weather reports here, they're not the greatest right now. So you still got it. Plus, it's about to be spring, so stuff is all over the place. But you need to be prepared. So nothing, even if something is throwing you off your square, because your working memory is so great, you should be able to problem solve in that moment and then get back on track. But if you have an atrophied working memory over the age of 35 is depleted by the nanosecond, you're not going to be prepared. And this whole thing of, oh, I'm going to just be spontaneous and I'm going to just do this off the cuff. Okay, be all willy-nilly if you want to. And then when it's a shit show, first thing out your mouth is, well, I didn't know. I didn't know. And no one can say that now because of the internet. There's a how-to video and a DIY video and an article on damn near everything. And sometimes multiple. And with AI actually in the algorithm now, multiple things will show up when you search it. So there's no reason for you not to be prepared other than you want to be unaccountable and you don't feel like doing the upfront work. Number 12 is leverage your experts. Leverage your experts. My daughter and I go to appointments all the time and people say, we had to call an expert. We tried to put it together and we almost fought each other. We got some pieces missing, isn't leaning. We don't know what we did. That's when we contacted you. Leverage your experts. We have some plumbing things that need to take place in the house and we're going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to call somebody. Now we had to replant some plants. We can do that. But leverage your experts in everything that you do. It's never, oh, I'm too old or I already know it. If you've learned something and you have a skill and when you learned that you old as hell and now it's been updated, you got to go and ask the person who is part of the update. Just like apps and software update, you need to update what it is that you're doing. And if you don't do that, now it's not going to be your best effort. And remember, be the best is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So if you don't know, ask is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, as well as communicate effectively. All those go into leveraging your experts. And it's nothing wrong with not knowing. That isn't the problem. The problem is not doing something about not knowing. That's where you become unaccountable. But you can say, hey, I don't know how to do this. Who does? And then find the best person. Don't just ask some random person that you think, well, and when we were still talking to my mother and her husband, my stepfather literally said he had to send something to somebody. And he said, no, he know everything about business. He sell insurance or real estate. He know everything about business because he sell insurance or real estate. He know everything about business. And it was something technical, some type of document, Google Docs. Yeah, no, he got it. He good in business because don't make that assumption. That's not the expert. We used to ask my Uncle Jerry all the time for advice because he was a lawyer and he had the most money in the family. My Uncle Jerry knew how to be a lawyer. That was it. He couldn't help me with the Army. He couldn't help me with Frito-Lay. There were a bunch of small business or nothing else. He know everything about tech because he's a real estate agent. Right. That's what that's what he said. Oh no, he know everything about tech because he's a real estate agent. But how? How you put them two together? Those two don't go together. So when you are leveraging the expert, make sure that they're actually the expert. In today's society, you can actually go and look at reviews and everything else. There should be a resume somewhere. Somebody vouching for this person and saying they did a great job and they are actually an expert. I know you can buy reviews and all of that, so do your due diligence, but it should match. So I even recommend having a checklist and questions that you ask the person. So I do upfront work. If I don't know something, I even play country dumb, to quote Ray Charles, and start asking things as if I don't know to see what answer I'm going to get, if they're going to lead me astray or they're going to tell the truth. So yeah, don't try to be a contractor at my house. It's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. We tried to help somebody out and he was doing electrical work and messed up and he left. And Kevin, you can appreciate this because I said they don't clean up. He left the drywall. He was doing GFIs and he left the drywall he left it in the kitchen. He left it in the bathroom. And he was a week later coming back and I left it there for him and walked him around the house where all the drywall was left. And guess who cleaned that drywall up? Not me. And it was difficult because I'm a germaphobe and I kept having to leave things away from that part of the kitchen counter. It was by the microwave. So I was like, you put this shit here, it wasn't here when you got here, and it's not going to be here when you leave here. So he learned a very valuable lesson. Hence, we are not recommending him to anybody. And he broke Nola's toilet seat in her bathroom when he came in with his, because it was Friday. So he got his clothes on already, coming in smelling like Dracar, stinking the house up, that fucking cologne. And then had his big plumbing wrench putting her exhaust fan back up and broke the toilet seat. Then had to go get the toilet seat replaced and charge a gang of money. So definitely not coming back. Yeah, but I sure did. I told you, you look up petty, there is in the dictionary is a picture of me. I will show you about customer service. No, we're not doing that. So yeah, I reprimanded privately. I didn't blast him on his website or nothing, but I sure did. So leverage your experts. Make sure that they're experts, and then get the best of the best. Do your due diligence. Number 13, hold everyone personally accountable. That means you and yourself, you and everybody. Everybody gets held personally accountable. We no longer have two people in this live because they were being unaccountable and disruptive and acting like basically bumbling idiots. And so they're gone now because everybody has to be personally accountable. Life just goes better when everybody that you know is following the 74 principles of real leadership. And when they're not, when they don't have working memory, they don't have inhibition control, they just blurt things out. They do. They just do whatever they want, and you're supposed to just be accepting of recalcitrant behavior. Absolutely not. Not going to do it. Not going to do that at any point at all. It is disruptive. It is 100% disruptive. And for people to not understand and respect, treat people with dignity and respect, and understand that this is a learning environment, if you can't tell the difference, then that means that that's something wrong with you neurologically, that this isn't what you're used to seeing. That's not it. And other people, lecture formats might let you type up questions and everything because they want some attention. I'm good. My self-esteem and confidence is intact. I don't need you to tell me, oh, you're so smart, you so, I know. I don't need you to tell me that. What needs to happen here is this exchange right here. So you need to listen. You need to apply everything that I'm telling you. And then you need to make sure that everybody where you in your community holds each other personally accountable so we can get this 6 billion adults number down, even hopefully that it will be 0. I don't know if we'll ever get to that low, but it would be nice. Even if we got to 1 billion, that would be great. So you hold yourself and everybody else personally accountable, and that means to best. The standard is best. It is best, and that's it. It's best. There is no other option. Best is the only option. Number 14, you reprimand privately. And as I just mentioned with the electrician, I let him finish everything. And then when he was getting ready to go, I walked him around and told him everything. And he got a little offended. I don't really care because once he said he had been doing it for 20 years, I'm like, okay, well, then definitely. And then he was shocked and talking about the reviews and all these other things I'm like, no, that's not, they're lying to you. This is incorrect. You must have asked for those reviews or something because there is no way if you've been doing this for 20 years, you've been doing it wrong for 20 years. So let's up the ante on customer service because this right here is not it. We can't recommend you to other people right now. And so we didn't. But you reprimand privately and then you reward openly. Now you might be thinking, well, Dr. Donna, you just put these people on blast. That's not the same thing. If an unaccountable person comes to me they came here voluntarily. So if they come here voluntarily and I've given them the guiding principles, basically the rules of engagement, and they want to pop off, then I have to go back to number 13, which is hold everyone personally accountable. That's what I have to do because you're not going to come over here and be disruptive. I'm old school. I'm not new school. Okay. So I'm not of this gentle parenting, kinder, gentler, soft as warm butter, mealy mouth ass existence. I will communicate effectively and I will use tact if necessary. But what we will not do is come and disrupt this thing called personal accountability. That's not what's going to happen. You can be off the cuff on everybody else's live, but over here, and everybody has always had that one teacher that you don't play in Miss Johnson's class or whomever's class is like, nah, man, you don't play over there. This is that class. That dog don't hunt over here. So you reprimand privately. I have been in coffee shops and people will be getting their one-with-ones done and bad performance reviews in Starbucks, in Leone Cafe, in Coffee Bean and Tea. I'm like, y'all couldn't go sit in the car? Like, do y'all not have a cubicle? Y'all could have went and rented a room not even rented, but signed out a room at the library, which is free here, and had that done. You could just say, hey, I need room too. And had that done. They have office spaces that you can rent by the hour here to get that done. But do not reprimand publicly because what happens is people then remember that and they're going to seek revenge at some point. So don't do that. If you're really genuinely wanting this person to improve their behavior and their performance, do it behind closed doors, prepare for it, give them a strategy, provide them coaching, and then follow up and monitor that coaching so that they can actually improve. But if your objective is to embarrass them, okay, cool. just know that it could come back to you as well. And if someone comes on my live and wants to pop off, they are asking to get whatever they get. Whatever, you know how teachers, when you were in elementary school, used to have a bag of treats. And depending on how you answered the question, you could get a pencil, you might get a candy bar, you might get an eraser. Well, I got to fuck around and find out bag. So I just pull out whatever I deem necessary in that moment to ensure that the unaccountable person knows that this is not where you do that at. So that's my Dr. Donna FAFO bag for people being personally unaccountable, because it's happening in your life and you're letting it occur. And that's 1000% wrong on the scale of 1 to 2. It cannot occur because it doesn't bode well for anybody. All it does is incentivize them to continue to do it more and more and more and more and more, because they get stronger, because they're addicted to it, and they like that adrenaline and dopamine boost. And so bullying you and making you go, oh no, stop. They really got, yeah, now let me go do it again. Yeah, you just feed it and get stronger and stronger. It's like that plant on Little Shop of Horrors. Feed me, see more. You just feeding it and feeding the little amygdala over and over and over and over again. And it gets worse and worse. So don't do it. So they're not being reprimanded. They're being held accountable to I'm matching their energy and double downing on it so it can stop. Got it? All right. Number 15, leverage your strengths, understand your weaknesses. Leverage your strength and understand your weaknesses. So the other day we had to put together a 5-drawer, 6-drawer filing cabinet and a desk for a pre-existing client. And now we know that I am now using the electric screwdriver successfully. Yay. And so they did not have pre-drilled holes on the drawers. And Nola initially said, I'm going to have to do it because the holes aren't pre-drilled. And I said, challenge accepted, because I think that's what we had to do the other day was take a risk or challenge yourself. I forgot which one it was. Stay focused. No, that wasn't. Be honest. I forgot what day it was. Go for it. One of those days. So I had to go for it. So I literally put these 6 drawers together with no pre-drill holes, and I'm using the electric screwdriver. So my strength is not in assembly, but it's a weakness for me. So I understand that that's a weakness. I'm not about to be like, oh, give me all the drawers that don't have pre-drill holes in it. But I can strengthen my weaknesses, but I'm going to leverage my strengths to focus on some things that are weak. I'm not going to say, oh, I need to make every last one of my weaknesses strong, because that's just not possible. I don't have a jumper. I'm not about to say, oh, I'm weak with the doggone slam dunk. Let me go and strengthen my slam dunking. No, that's not what it's about. It's strengthening, using your strengths to strengthen the things that are making you weak, that are stopping you from becoming your best. So if it is something that is stopping you, I couldn't read, couldn't spell, that was stopping me from getting my degree. So at that point, I need to leverage my determination, my intestinal fortitude, and my discipline in order to learn how to do this thing that is weak. I'm still weak in spelling. I still have things that when I'm reading, I'm like, okay, what is that? But it's much stronger than it used to be. That's why I'm still in my 11th year of a book challenge and do things. I keep making content and all of that, because it's not like I could wake up and say, hey, wait, how do you spell that word? I'll be making a post of something. I got to look it up and make sure that that word is spelled correctly. So it's understanding what your weaknesses are and then strengthening them with the strengths that you already have. And then number 16 is talk to people and not at them. So you talk to people instead of at them. You don't say, go get that. Can you please go in the kitchen and hand me a spoon? I needed to stir my coffee. That's different than go get me a spoon. It's totally different. And what happens when people are talking at you, it feels different. You feel defensive. You feel offended, because it's basically hijacking your amygdala, which is what those two were attempting to do this morning, as opposed to saying, hey, I'm new here. I have some questions. Do you mind? No one ever asked, do you mind if I ask a question right now? They just come in and start asking questions. So there is no live etiquette. There needs to be, but there isn't. You just imagine if we were all sitting in the classroom and this person is new and they just start talking while I'm talking without raising their hand. Because raising your hand says I have a question. Even if they did like this, they had a question mark, then I could address them. But it's so, I just want my attention right now, give my attention, immediate gratification. And that's not effective. So talking at people instead of to them. Go for the goal. That's go for the gold. Not gold. That's what it was. Go for the gold. GOALD, and that's my Midwestern accent. So it's go for the gold. Got it. So my point is that you don't talk at people, you talk to people. You talk to people. And when you learn how to communicate effectively, and Nola does this often, where I will have my stern voice, and I've mentioned this before, that she will say, I'm yelling at her. And I'm like, I'm not yelling at you, I'm being stern. Well, it feels like yelling. Okay, it feels like I'm holding you accountable. That's what it feels like. So yelling is different. Raising my voice is different. And if that occurs, you're good. As soon as I go stern, you're not good. You're not. Stern is, woo, that's above yelling. That's like, okay, this is not going well for people. So talking to people and talking at them is totally different. And when in my early years, from 14, 15 years old in ROTC until today, I've had to learn the difference. And I go stern instead of at. If I'm stern, it might feel like at, but there is a difference in the intonation and the directness of what I'm saying, because I'm saying be accountable right now, and you're not being personally accountable, and we're going to have to rectify that ish, because you will not be in my presence and be personally unaccountable. That's not going to happen. You're either going to become personally accountable, or you're going to exit stage left, or I'm going to exit stage left, but we will not exist in the same environment. That's not going to take place. So I've gone over the last final 8. You've had part 1 yesterday, part 2 today. What questions do you have, if any, for 9 through 16 before we get to the learning? And remember, you need a secondary device if you don't already have it and you weren't following along. You will need that. TheTurnaroundDoctor.com is the website that we are on. And we are on the page of the 74 Principles of Real Leadership, reviewing Leader-Led. And I reviewed 9 through 16 today. All right, I'm gonna put my GAFOS on. For those of you who have your secondary device, go ahead and go up to 11. And I'm just gonna read what 11 is about, because that is the current book challenge. And then we will go into a Medium article and wrap it up. All right, so you're at 11, and it says, welcome to 11, the Meditation and Manifestation Book Challenge. This is the 11th annual book challenge. Below are the symbolisms and meaning with respect to the number 11. Number 1 is the spiritual awakening, enlightenment, manifestation of desires, balance, heightened intuition, wisdom, and communication, the number of faith. 11 appears to inform you, to urge you to pay attention to something significant in your life. Number 3, 11 shows up as you prepare to access a new chapter in your life. Number 4, 11 appears for you to trust your intuition, and gut, we know, is part of real leadership, to make better decisions in your daily life. Number 5, 11 allows you to manifest what you want daily by focusing on it, allowing you to watch the things in your life to fall into place, hence the manifestation. Number 6, when you see 11, it's a notification that it is time to meditate and to manifest. Number 7, 11 is a soul number representing your spiritual journey. Number 8, 11 is a prime number and a super prime number. Number 9, 11 is a transitional number. And number 10, 11 will allow you to transition into something new and overdue. So as we saw from before, going over the other book challenges, I have a theme for all of them. And then the theme for this one is the Meditation and Manifestation Book Challenge. You go into that. That's what I do. And in closing, this year's mantra is the journey of 11, a time of meditation to a path of manifestations. So that's what 11 is all about. So every week I meditate, and then I have a manifestation from that as I'm reading the book as well. And it's been rewarding. Once we switched from 52 to 5 and started going to the numbers, it's amazing how the numbers line up with where I am and what's taking place in my life at that time. And part of the reason why we review that is because when you think about leadership, it's like this very hard, leadership. But this is everyday leadership for everyday life, and that's different. then leadership at your job, leadership in the military, leadership in corporate America, leadership for nonprofits, leadership for churches, and all of that. People think it's separate. And for them, it is. But for me, it's all the same. It's a circle, it is continuous. And so, how you do anything is how you do everything. Real leadership is everyday leadership for everyday life. So that means every day in your life, you are being a real leader. And that means that it's a million shades of real leadership. It isn't, oh, I'm this way and that's it. And it's not, it's situationally dependent based upon the Robert Northouse path goal theory, as well as the theory of personal accountability. It changes. You don't have two of the same days in your life. Even if you used to go to a very boring, mundane job, you still didn't talk to the same people. You still didn't have the same orders, the same customer interactions, or whatever it was. It might have felt like it was the same, but it was actually different for various different reasons. And you need to be able to adapt and adjust. The bigger your working memory is, the ability for you to learn, grow, and develop, that's what allows you to become this whole, total, complete person. And that's why we're reviewing that, because it's like, oh, she was in the Army and she was talking about leadership and all this. Like, there can't be this other side to me. And that's why I don't like unaccountable people, because they want to put you in a box that makes them comfortable. And if you say, you don't get this box, because I got a box cutter in my pocket, I'm going to cut that motherfucker up and destroy it or recycle it and put it up. They're like, what happened to that box? Oh, I cut it up and recycled it. No, that box was for you. No, it wasn't. It didn't have my name on it. That box wasn't for me. Boxes is for moving and storage, and we can't put this in no moving or no storage box. You're not storing me. You're not gonna put me up on no shelf. Absolutely not. So people want you to be this one way. That's it. This is, I remember when you, okay, cool. And that was a season, that was a chapter, and I'm on a new chapter. Part 3 is what I'm working on right now. So I will not be put into this box. That's why I showed y'all the faceography. I showed you the graphography and everything else that is me, because, oh, we're going to stick you right here. Michelangelo got to do all these different amazing things and everybody thought he was great. But Dr. Donna is supposed to sit here in this little box to make everybody comfortable based upon confirmation and conformity bias. And I'm not going to do that. And I'm telling you, once you become a complete, full-fledged real leader, you're not going to want to do it too. And either. And what happens is you can do that if you're focused on annual. But if you're focused on daily, you get bored really quick. You get just like, are we doing this again? Oh, we're doing this again. You start 365 and stuff, you're going to find out real quick, yeah, I can't keep doing that for 365 consecutive days, year after year after year after year. But if it's sporadic and it's seasonal and it's traditional and it's annual, then it feels different. Just do it daily. And it don't change. If you got to eat oatmeal every day, 3 times a day for 365 days, you're going to be like, look, don't give me no more damn oatmeal. Not 3 times a day. I scarf it down in the morning and call it a day, but there is no way that that's going to happen. So I'm showing you that in order for you to become your best, in order for you to have this complete existence, growing forward, challenging yourself gives you the opportunity to explore things that you would have never accomplished. You would have never thought to do. We went to Star Nursery and I had been there. We've driven past it. I'm just not a planter. It's not something I want to do, but it was a great experience. It was calm and peaceful in there, and they gave us a tomato plant. So, hey, there you go. It was a good experience. I've been in the not the tractor store, but Harbor Freight. Had never been in there before. I had gone to the Bass Pro Shop because I lived in Tennessee, but when I went back with Nola, she was just like, oh my God, they have this, they have that, and they have this. So it's all these different experiences that you can have when you don't live this cubicleized, zip code-itis, box frame mindset, comfort zoneist. You don't have to do that. With that being said, go ahead and go to the social media tab on the website. And this time you're going to go all the way down to the bottom. And it's the third one from the bottom. It's Letters from Louise. And as you get to it, so you're going social media page, Letters from Louise, at the bottom, third one up. I've told this story before, but now it'll make more sense. I hated poetry. Was in school, hated it, didn't want to hear it. My sister loved Nikki Giovanni and all these other people. I'm like, Maya Angelou, and I know how the Cage Bird sings, and I had to read it, and I was like, oh, I hate this shit. I hate it. Finally, 2 years ago, Nola had a client who was an English teacher and a poet, and while Nola was hanging up her art, she's an artist too, she sat down and explained poetry to me, and then she gave me her book of poems, which I read and reviewed, and I wrote 26 poems after that. because I finally understood what poetry is creation. If you understand the imagery, it's like, it's bullshit. I don't fuck poetry. That's how I felt. And so Letters from Louise, that's my nom de plume. Letters from Louise came to be because I was willing to embrace diversity, sit down with the poet, and do what people told me I used to didn't do, was listen. And then I asked questions. 2 principles of real leadership. And from there, I said, oh, so it doesn't have to be this whole thing that I don't get and I don't understand. Roger that. So Letters from Louise, and let me know when you get there. Louise is my middle name, and Letters from Louise is my poetry. And it's the letters of the alphabet, but also letters to the world. So I'm using it in both ways. So Letters from Louise originated almost 2 years ago, or we might even be right. Yeah, well, no, it's about to be 2 years in June. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, April. So in April, it'll be 2 years. And so I wrote 26 poems, have to get back to it, but that was my mission, was to write 26 poems and use the letters of the alphabet. That's how I started. So we're going to start at the top, and everybody just go ahead and read but. B-U-T, not B-U-T-T. And then just let me know when you're finished reading it. Well, not let me know by what are your thoughts. What came to be? What did you think? Anything that resonated with you? I'm going to have an almond while you do that. I think this is completely called. Reminds me of making excuses for everything. Okay. Reminds me of unfulfilled promises. Okay, cool. Got it. So my motivation, I said motivation. My reasoning for writing this poem is the formatting for it. I and but with the dot at the end. And I wanted to just have verbs down the middle. So as we continue to go through my poems, I will reveal to you the strategy. So I start with a letter, and then I go but, I'm going to use but, and then how will I use that? So it's formatting, and I got that from Vogue, who's the person who told me about poems, and she said sometimes you can start in the middle, sometimes you can make dots and all of that. So once I understood basically the structure of it, that's when I started experimenting with it more. So this is my 28th poem under but. And what Nola said is, as we continue to look at more of these, is that I took real leadership and turned it into poetry. So it's been amazing how many different ways I've been able to take this very boring topic that's not sexy at all and bring it to life so that it's palatable and digestible and understandable and learnable to a diverse group of people from all different backgrounds, from different countries, different age groups, and everything else, because that's what real leadership is. So if I had to stay stuck in the box and had said, this is it, this is my niche and everything else, then everybody in the world misses out on the ability to be able to express themselves. And so if I hadn't have had, Nola hadn't had those appointments, if I wasn't talking to her clients, if I wasn't willing to sit down and talk to Vogue about poetry, then there are no letters from Louise. There is no brilliant poem, which I sent to Kevin. That poem doesn't get there. And what I found is that it's just another way of self-expression. That's all it is. So I thought it was spoken word, and sometimes it's a little foo-foo fluffy for me, a little pie in the sky, kind of out there kind of thing, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's what I learned from that situation is just because Nola says it's the person, no matter how many times you give them a solution, they will still find a reason it can't get done. Yes. I get that too. And on that, I forgot what show that was, but the comedian, it was two comedians, two Brits, and the person would just say, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. And so it was inspired by that as well. Inspired by that. You know how you have a movie that say this was inspired by a true story. So what I'm saying with all of this is that, and you can go back to the website now so you can look at the principles of real leadership, because we're going to pick one today to use. What I'm basically saying is don't let somebody put you in a box. Don't let people tell you this is who you have to be, and now who you have to be. And now that you're this, you can't be anything else. Why not? 100 Years Life. That's what the book Regina is reading right now. I've read it already. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. And you don't have to be any of those things. It's your life, and you get to do what you want to do with your life. It is your life to live however you see fit. Go off and do those amazing things so that when your time comes, you're not sitting somewhere saying woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. There are no regrets. You have rode it till the wheels fall off, and you're like, cool, I can go. It's good, because what happens? You get a report that you don't like from the doctor, or some type of illness shows up, and now you're like, but I forgot, and I didn't, and I was Part of the reason why I was able to grow through that bone marrow thing in 2023 was because I was like, I don't work at Frito-Lay no more. I ain't in the Army no more. I done did a bunch of stuff. I'm good. There's some more that I would like to do, but hey, it's been a good run. And that's how life needs to go. Little Britain is the name of the show. That's how it needs to be. And that's why when you focus on your daily, it's in your daily. It's in your daily. You get 17 to 18 hours. Don't waste it on unaccountable people. Just imagine if I had to let those people, we're 52 minutes in, if I had to let them stay, what would we all feel like right now? And when they come, we're all like, here they go, trying to hijack the amygdala. But the good news is you know exactly what they're attempting to do, because you're in your frontal lobe. You're in the executive function of your brain. So you're like, in a minute, she gonna get them. And then, then we're gonna go back to learning. Don't worry about it. I'm check my messages for a second. This is gonna be over. This is not either this or this is gonna be the lesson. And they gonna get dragged all over YouTube this morning. They will not forget today. It will be a different day for them. That's the whole point, is to be who you are. Think positive and have an amazing day, because you might not be here tomorrow. You might. So if this is the last day, do you want to spend it with unaccountable people doing unaccountable shit? No, absolutely not. Unaccountable people are the only people that say you got to put up with it. They're the only ones telling you that's just the way it is. No. It might be that over there, but it's not like that over there. When I found out my ex-husband was cheating, I had too many married women saying that's what men do. No, that might be what your man does. But I had a conversation on the way to the courthouse. We had a pre-existing arrangement. We might not have had a prenup, but I had a you better not cheat up. Okay? Because if you do, I'm out. You out, I'm out. We gonna be out. You're not putting your hands on me and you're not cheating on me. I don't care what's happening. If you feel that, we go get some counseling, but you're not, we after the fact. Everybody want counseling after the fact. No. Nah. Because it's premeditation. You got to do too much. You got to do this malice and forethought. So my criminal justice brain couldn't process that. And so I'm saying people want you to stay and put up for what? Just be honest right now. Anybody that put up with something, tell me, was it worth it? You put up with something and it was worth putting up with it. Not the struggle, the challenge to do something grand, but the putting up with. What did the putting up with get you? What was your return on your putting up with it investment? Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to put up with this for 48 years and 360 days. Me with my mama. You're going to put up with this for 2.5 years. Me with my ex-husband. You're going to put up with this for 3 years with my sister, just working with her. And then all the 40 years before that. What did it get you? Because maybe it's just me and the people I've been in contact with. Maybe you're putting up with it and I'm willing to learn. Give me some new information. I just want to know, you put up with it and then what? What happened? Because I can say I sacrificed 23 years of my life to go to school, and I have a high school diploma and 3 degrees. That's why I did that. I went into the military, and I know a lot about a lot. I worked at Frito-Lay for almost 10 years. I know a lot. I know how to take raw materials, turn them into finished goods, and sell them in the marketplace. But I don't have my putting up with it badge. You think about the Scouts, the Girl Scouts, and the Boy Scouts. So maybe they just call them all Scouts now. I don't have this putting up with badge. This was my 40 years of putting up with it. So should I have badges with my sister, my ex-husband, my mother, and other people on my sash and say that, you know, how they had a little fire patch? Right. Nothing. So who asked you to put up with it, Regina? Who said that's what you do? That's what you see, you put up with it. Because, I mean, even when people trying to sell you sand at the beach, they still saying that with this sand, this is what you're going to get in return. Well, no, that's just how they are. Right. You putting up with it, and now you got mental health issues. I saw your comment when you, oh, sorry, Nola. When you keep putting up with it, you keep putting up the behavior. You keep putting up, and the behavior never changes. You need a paradigm shift. Exactly. I apologize, Nola, because it was right under the Little Britain. So yeah, you get nothing. Zero, -50% return on your investment. And who asked you to do it? An unaccountable person. Why? Because they've been putting up with it. They've been putting up with it, and that's a dumbass plan. Put up with it. Well, that's just what you do. No, that's what you do. Because everybody that told me to stay is still married, and they look like they still married. That's all I'm going to say. If they look like, yep, you stayed, look at that. And it is always interesting to me because I can tell how close the spouses are by how many people are in the photo in between them. The 3, 4, 5 kids in the middle, and they standing on the end like bookends. Yep, that was worth it. Yeah, look at that. Look at that love. Ooh, man. Y'all ain't even got to wait till Valentine's Day. So absolutely not. Don't put up with it. Tell them to go. You go. You can have all this. I will rebuild. I will rebuild. That's it. I'm good. I'm good. Peace of mind. There is no, you know how I used to have those commercials and they'd say something and then they say priceless. Peace of mind. It's priceless. That's what it is. So don't put up with it. I'm following up yesterday for Be Objective. What did you have to do to be objective yesterday? Be objective. We had 3 appointments yesterday. A middle appointment is not somebody energetically, I don't know what's wrong in the family. They're not doing anything to us, whatever, but it's just the energy. And so I had to be objective through that appointment. This is our 3rd appointment there with that client. And it's nothing wrong on the surface. My gut is just like, something's off here. So I had to remain objective and still do what I normally do and not go with because they're not, they pay, they answer the questions and everything. So they're not following the simple procedures. It's just a Dr. Donna-ism. So I had to be objective at the 2nd appointment. So what did you do to be objective yesterday? Do I need to scroll? There we go. Yes, paradigm shift is needed. And see, when I scroll up, I got to scroll back down. That's what the arrow is for. And every live format is different. So I have 3 different live formats in my head that I have to be good at. What did you do to be objective? Do-da, do-da. What did you do to be objective? Oh, do-da day. Oh, do-da day. I guess I can get used to this new tripod. It's more about touching too. I don't like how it feels. And Kevin and Nola, if you were writing, remember ... before you started doing that. The last almond of the day. Be our guest. Be our guest. Be our guest. Okay. So as a reminder, be objective means that you based all your decisions on facts and not emotions. Having to be objective and get the facts with the TaskRabbit spam. That is correct. I knew that's what you were going to put. Nola got a notification from someone that from TaskRabbit that she did something that is basically impossible for her to have done, and there is no record of it. So people have in the time that she's been on TaskRabbit spammed, set up appointments, fake addresses, and things like that. She got a very racist request about 3 weeks ago, and now this. And so what happens is every now and then people are like, oh, let's go mess with the people on TaskRabbit. And so that's what took place yesterday. But fortunately for her, because I'm her mother, she has very detailed records and very detailed systems. So the thing that is being said is 100% impossible, not probable, and untrue. As I've mentioned before, I've gone to 4 arbitrations and have not had them overturned. So do not get me in a legal process, because it will not bode well for you. I have sat across from many a union steward. Observed a young woman stagger across the street to the parking lot, obviously drunk. Friends and I watched and determined it was necessary to speak to her and provide counsel to keep her safe. Yes. And I knew that from you turning in your information yesterday, your PA for today. And one thing that I will say while Kevin is typing his information up is the one of the best things about personal accountability is the empowerment factor. Because you are now in complete control of your brain, you feel confident and competent enough to go and handle business. You have the neurological pathways to get that done. That's what the beauty of it. And that's what people need to understand when I say hold yourself personally accountable. It isn't let people get away with shit. That's the last thing that's taking place. It's like, well, I don't want to do that because they're not going to be personally accountable, so I'm not going to be. No. It's 100% benefits for yourself. Now, is there some residual for other people around you? Yes, but you are 100% benefiting from it in your day-to-day activities. That's the difference, is your day is different. Your day is best. Your day is best. Even if you have to handle conflict when it occurs, Kevin, you had to do that with your aunt. You do it, and then the rest of your day is better. If I had to let those unaccountable people stay on this live, we wouldn't have got to the end of this. Y'all wouldn't have got to the poems. You wouldn't have got to your express how you were objective. None of it would have occurred. So personal accountability is 1000% for you, and you benefit instantaneously. I was sitting in a restaurant and noticed grown men wearing Crocs. So I went to a store to try some on. They are comfortable, but I'm not ever wearing them. I hear you on that too. This is a Croc-laden town as well. And now you can understand why people have them on. For me, it's that you can't hold them on. And I got long toes, so I can't wear rounded shoes anyway like that. And then the slipping factor, even if you get the ones with the things on the back. But people say they're comfortable. And we know people who have them and see them at houses. So yes, so now you went and did it. And now you can have that conversation and say, I tried them on and they're just not for me. And everything isn't for everybody. Okay, the final thing is, what did you learn? What did you learn? And we can get on out of here. So personal accountability. And I had my own revelation yesterday while we were at our first appointment. And it's this. I did, even from the first time I had my first job, which was, what was my first job? Was it the movie theater? Yes. My first real job was at the Livonia Mall movie theater. And from there, I'm one of. So I'm one of the cashiers, I'm one of the ushers, I'm one of the cashiers at McDonald's and all these other places. I'm one of the cooks when I was at Michigan State making the doggone eggs, people serving food. One of the platoon leaders, one of the commanders, one of the managers at Frito-Lay, one of the ZOMs, one of the small business owners at the chamber. So I have been one of. And in my head, I have been thinking, and I know I've said it, I'm the only person teaching this, but in my head, I have never been the only person doing what I'm doing. There has always been someone else on the track team, in ROTC, in the Army. Always. One of the parents for the students at the school. I'm just volunteering, teaching chess. And what I came to me yesterday, because again, I'm in the meditation manifestation phase of my book challenge, is this. There actually isn't another person teaching you how to use your brain with the theory of personal accountability and the 74 principles of real leadership. There isn't another person. There's not a whole, not on any other continent, not anywhere. And it just occurred to me. I actually am when I said it. And the reason why it was so prevalent was because I was looking at neuroscientists to get this. Instagram got the stupid reels at the top, so I'm getting that feed up. And I'm like, this is the first time in your life that you are the only. You literally are. So I literally have been thinking, okay, everybody got to eat. Everybody has to do this. And I don't know if it's making sense to y'all, but it really just, it hit me. It's like, there is no more one of. And I don't know if you get to this in Virginia, you're much older than, not much older, but you're older than us. I don't know if you come to the place where you just realize, wait a minute, I am the only. Self-actualization and awareness from Maslow's hierarchy needs. If this is how it actually goes and you do become the only, I don't know. We will see. God willing, how longer I'm here. But I don't actually have any peers. No one else is doing it. No one else is doing it. And Kevin, you said, Lauren, I thought about going back to Louisville, but okay. And then Regina said, I was reminded of the need to have a strategy and a plan ahead of time. That's correct. Okay, cool. Kevin, can you expound upon that? Are you saying the but from the letters from Louise? Is that what the but is? Just so I understand. And then Nola, whatever you have. So I now realize that I am actually the only person in the world that is doing this. It actually sunk all the way into everything. It's all the way down in there. And if I were not on day 483 of lives, if I were not in my 11th book challenge where I'm meditating and manifesting, I may have never gotten to this. I know I would have never gotten to this point. And that's why I'm saying, don't let people put you in a box. Don't stay around unaccountable people, because it's not going to end well. It's not. Got it. Oh, for you, Kevin. It's not going to end well for anybody. So stay in your personal. Wasn't it? That's what I thank you for that, Regina, because it hit me. I was like, all this time I've been thinking, I did shift work. So I'm like, third shift got it here. This is what we did. First shift got it. I'm platoon leader, but I'm only a platoon leader for a year. This platoon is going to someone else. I'm an HHD commander, S1, S4. I'm a lead. It's going to go to someone else. And so that has been my entire life and my entire programming. So that's why it's been a challenge. And and so Nola was asking when we were in Michael's, the pink shirt that I had on yesterday, why I was having such a hard time getting the pink shirts. She's like, what's wrong with you? Why you can't get these pink shirts? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't like pink. I don't look good in pink, because we had pale pink. Then we ended up with that pink I had on yesterday. And now it's hitting me because it's like I'm rebelling. Like I'm doing my own thing, and I'm not supposed to do my own thing. I'm supposed to do this thing that already exists. I'm supposed to keep helping people build up their stuff. So how dare I only talk about this thing that I created all the time, every time, all day long? That's not how this programming works. Because if you're a singer, you're an R&B singer. If you're, if you're a poet, then you have the greats, but they didn't invent poetry. Does that make sense? If you're a chemist, you're not the only chemist. If you're a philosopher, you're not the only philosopher. You might be a great philosopher, but there is no one else teaching daily personal accountability using the neurological pathways and neural pathways of your brain for you to be best. That's the other part. For you to be your best. People real good at getting you out of mental illnesses, but best, your best, hasn't been done. And it's me. I feel like David. I feel like Noah. Like, what? Me? I got this mission. And so I got some chill bumps right now. It's the woo. So it hit me yesterday while we were putting together a coat rack. And it just came. And that's the reality of the situation. So I'm still processing that awakening, that realization. And I'm like, well, because this is beyond RL Beyond, because I'm beyond RL Beyond, because I made RL Beyond. So it's something to consider. And as we continue to grow and learn, I'm interested to see how many more people get to this point and how fast you all get there. Took me a little bit longer because I'm the originator, so I had to make the path for it. That's where we are. So when I say I am the baddest motherfucker walking the face of the planet Earth, it's true. Because now I have the answer to cure humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who had the vaccine for polio and smallpox and all of that. I got the cure for human behavior, for best. Not for people to stop acting like damn fools, but for them to be their best. What? Who got that? Nobody. Nobody. At all. For your best? I mean, Regina, you had a hell of a day yesterday. You had a hell of a day yesterday. You were on a freaking roll. 100%. Doing all kind of stuff. They become speechless. Woo! Speechless, Kevin? I'm learning how to use my brain. Man, speechless. You doing what? Wow, speechless. How to use the brain. How to use it. Not use it, but how to use it. So you can become your best. And you got to feel it. Like, wow, like, man. It's like I got a superpower. I had this thing sitting here this whole time. This entire time. And it's going to eliminate everybody's need to have this hijacked amygdala. Like, it's so empowering. It's so empowering. It has nothing to do with anybody else. You do not have to go fuck with other people for you to feel better no more. And you don't have to put it, because you got two types of people. People fucking with people, and then people putting up with it. And nobody's happy. Nobody's best. Nobody's doing anything grand, because you're on the receiving end of somebody, well, I got to put up with it because they my son, and they like, la, 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 la. And it's just this back and forth of unproductivity, of hijacked amygdala state. And we don't have to live like that. Not what as long as human beings have been here. We have progressed in everything but us. And me. Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers has penicillin for human beings. The answer. And no offense to AI, but Allen Iverson, not artificial intelligence. But this is the answer. And it's quite simple. And I won't say effortless, but it doesn't require a lot. You know how when you had to buy your toys for your children or anybody, or you got, it said no assembly required, or just a couple put the battery in. It's really put the battery in and then just do the work daily. It's not a bunch of stuff. It's not complicated. You're not like, if 2 + 2 is feeling like you're doing physics to get this done. I did the upfront work. Now you just got to implement it. So it was a very, very, very strange feeling for me. I'm still processing it because we had 3 appointments yesterday and then we got home to that spam. So today we're not assembling. So, right, artificial intelligence isn't the answer, it's the problem. And so we just keep finding ways to not deal with people, but we all have to deal with people. Like, that makes no sense. No, we're just, let the teachers do it. Teachers like, let the counselors do it. Counselors like, let the parents do it. Parents like, let the prison system do it. Like, let the church do it. Everybody's delegating their people opportunities. And I'm saying, just hold yourself personally accountable. Bada boom, bada bing. And everybody around you. Use your gray matter. Use this and become personally accountable. So I'm still processing it. I'm sure I'll have a more added, clearer revelation tomorrow, but it just came to me yesterday. And it's interesting that I'm the only now. I still can't, still trying to, my brain is like, what? It's buffering, the only. What you mean the only? And I've been saying it, and now it finally sunk in. It's actually difficult for people to take this level of responsibility. It requires not being on automatic pilot as you live daily. Amygdala being hijacked is hard for people to grasp. Okay, well, yeah, that is very true, Regina, and thank you for that perspective. So it's difficult to understand that your amygdala is being hijacked, and that's why you're behaving like that. So they can't understand that. Okay. Got it. Now I got to give me one. Where's my Post-its? Because this is the wrong note. Here we go. Got a new set of Post-its. So I'm going to work on getting people to understand hijacked amygdala is stopping your brain and PA. Okay. I learned to realize now when people are utilizing experts, I'm the experts now. You are, sweetie. I mean, Nola, you are the expert. Definitely. And then Regina said, Kevin is right. People become speechless and have a hard time processing it. Dang, y'all don't, thank y'all so much. People become speechless and have a hard time processing when you say, I'm learning to use my brain. Okay. Yes, she is the expert, y'all, for real, for real. And I know sometimes parents be lying on how good their kids are. Oh, Driscoll, thank you. Oh my God. Thank you for that. Wow. Thank you. Y'all are great. I'm telling you, this is better than money. Y'all don't even know. Yeah. Wow. I feel blessed. Thank you. Thank you. So great. So great. Thank you for being willing students. Thank you. I feel like I got the magnet class now. And it does prove my point that people don't know how to use their brain. Thank you. God, y'all just, woo, how did I get this blast today? Man. Wow. I'm right. Thank y'all. I'm making this a highlight. Okay, y'all. Before I start doing the ugly cry, I don't actually do the ugly cry. I don't think I do. It's because my face won't even, my cheekbones won't move enough for me to be able to do that. So I do thank you and value everything that you all have said. The principle of real leadership that you're going to do today, and y'all already made me be able to do this, is to think positive. So today, no matter what takes place, you are going, and it's not no matter what takes place, it's throughout your day, you are thinking positive. And in order to do that, you got to remove unaccountable people from the equation. Unaccountable people are never part of real leader math. They are not. They can't be part of, because they're negatives and dividing, and you're never going to get to a better number by subtracting and dividing from that situation. It's not. The only thing you need to subtract is unaccountable people from your life. That's the best subtraction that you will ever get. You're going to get rid of them, and wherever you do after that is going to be better. 100%. So thank you for sharing everything that you said today. Thank you for the information. I have written it down, and y'all know I will use this, turn this into content, and address it neurologically and personal accountability. And we will definitely have more and more people, because as I get to more and more root cause analysis, and again, if it wasn't for the lives, I wouldn't know it was neurological. I wouldn't have brain research. I wouldn't have brain t-shirts. And I would just be saying people lazy and they don't want to hold themselves personally accountable. But because of my ability to always be learning and always be growing, always be asking questions, I want to know. And again, remember I told y'all, this was not my idea. Not my idea at all. That's why I know I'm doing what I came here to do, because I'm like, oh, what the fuck? This seemed hard. Okay, cool, got it. But just keep going. Some days I feel like Moses. Just like, okay, 40 years. All right, we'll just be in the wilderness. Okay, got it. So thank you very much. I do value and appreciate that you came here today. It's Monday, to learn more about your brain, how to use your brain. And I can actually read everything that you're doing and how it's changing. I feel it in the messages that you're sending me. And it's awesome. This is so much more rewarding than putting chips on the truck. I gotta say. Woo! And even teaching small business owners how to get contracts with the government and corporations and all that. Way more value added. way more value added because you all are changing the communities in which you reside, and that's paying it forward. This is planting trees for which shade I will never sit. It means a lot. I'm definitely grateful and thankful. And it's healthier too. Yes. Yes, it is. 100%. Definitely. I know if I was at Frito-Lay and got that diagnosis, I wouldn't be here because it would already had too much toxins in my body from all those people. Yes, but hey, you get to it when you get to it. And I am definitely very excited about where we all are headed. So thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power, and the universe. Again, think positive is your real leader principle for today. And go off and tell some more people that you use your brain. Film them. No, I'm send me the footage. I want to, you doing what? You learn how to use your brain. What's going on with you? You must be smoking that good stuff. What, you drunk? No, I'm not. Not at all. This is what is this? Oh, this is what personal accountability looks like. No, it looks different on everybody. All right, you all go off and have a great, amazing day. And I am going to take a nap today, and I will be back live on TikTok at 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Instagram at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I was about to say Eastern Standard Time. I'm not in Detroit anymore. Okay, take care. I will see you all tomorrow.